Creepy Abandoned Places, Part 1. Pripyat, Ukraine. The city of Pripyat was established in the early 1970s to house the workers of the Chernobyl nuclear plant and was located within 5 kilometers of the infamous No. 4 reactor. At its height, the city contained almost 50,000 residents. It boasted beautiful community buildings and was even named one of the best places to live in the Soviet Union. On April 26, 1986, a simple test went wrong and an explosion at the No. 4 nuclear reactor released hazardous chemicals and radiation into the nearby area. Within 2 days, the city was evacuated, and as of today, the containment efforts have cost approximately $68 billion when adjusted for inflation. The human toll was high as well because thousands of people would later suffer from cancers and deformities attributed to the toxic exposure to chemicals released that day. Buildings were left as they were, books were left on tables, furniture and valuables were left as well when people fled for their lives. After the disaster, a zone of alienation was established. This is considered a safe area where tours for those who are curious can be run. Like other places on this list, Pripyat has been heavily featured in popular culture. Its spooky, untouched nature makes it a perfect backdrop for the macabre. Hashima Island, Japan. Hashima Island, also known as Battleship Island, is a 16-acre piece of land off the coast of Japan, established in 1887 to support undersea coal mining efforts. At its peak, it was home to approximately 5,200 people. Over time, large concrete apartments, a hospital, and school were built for the miners and their families. Starting in the 1930s, forced labor became popular on the island as Japan used civilians and prisoners to support its war efforts. Unfortunately, as time passed, petroleum became a more popular energy source. Coal mining diminished and could no longer sustain the island. Hashima mines were permanently shut down in 1974, and the island became deserted in the months that followed. Its structures fell into disrepair and retaining walls crumbled. Since then, parts of the island have been made accessible to tourists, and it has even been featured in a few popular pieces such as the James Bond film Skyfall. Waverly Hills, Kentucky, USA. In the early 1900s, an outbreak of tuberculosis in the Jefferson County area of Kentucky prompted the purchase of the Waverly Hills property. A small hospital was constructed, and all the city's tuberculosis patients were moved here. As the number of patients grew, so too did the hospital. In 1924, a large multi-story Gothic Revival-style addition was made to the existing structure. Over the years, many patients died here, as at the time there was no treatment for tuberculosis. To keep morale from falling and the disease from spreading, a body tunnel or body chute was created. It was used to secretly dump dead bodies that would be hauled off by train cars without patients knowing. Many ghost sightings have been reported in this area of the building. One nurse was even found hanging from a light fixture. She is believed to have committed suicide, and another nurse was reported to have jumped off of the roof. In 1943, the discovery of the antibiotic streptomycin made such a sanatorium unnecessary, and the building was finally closed in 1961. Over the years, the Waverly Hills building would take on many roles, from being a seniors' home to defunct plans of becoming a prison. As of today, the sanatorium is used for ghost tours. Centralia, Pennsylvania, USA. Centralia is a ghost-like abandoned mining town which at its peak was home to over 2,500 people. The stock market crash of 1929 decreased profitability and resulted in 5 major mine closures in the area. Despite these closures, some residents continued to get coal from what were called idle mines. They would strip coal from anything they could find, even the poles and pillars that supported the roofing. Roof collapses in multiple mine systems created a dangerous subterranean labyrinth. The Centralia underground fire was caused in 1962 when the local landfill was set ablaze in an attempt to remove waste. This was a normal process which had happened in the past, but this time scheduling complications led to shortcuts in the process. Resistant clay barriers were not properly installed, and the burning coal moved through the landfill layers into the mine labyrinth, starting a hazardous underground fire, which is still burning to this day. The town was condemned in 1992, and most of the houses and businesses have been destroyed. As of today, only 5 people still call this creepy place home. Tequendama Falls Hotel, Colombia. Located in San Antonio del Tequendama, Colombia, Hotel del Salto was built in 1923 and was initially the home to a well-off architect. It boasted luxurious French architecture and an amazing view of the Tequendama waterfall. The home was converted into a successful hotel in 1928, where wealthy visitors would travel by train to the area for the food, wine, and scenery. The hotel would remain open until the 90s, when river pollution is said to have caused its demise. It certainly did not help that the area was a popular suicide spot with multiple people leaping to their death. These deaths led to rumors that the hotel was haunted, further adding to its mysterious nature. This one has a happy ending, though. In 2013, the hotel was partially restored and turned into a museum of biodiversity and culture.